Welcome to the channel. My name is Jodie Knight. You can find me over on eToro. My live portfolio there is going to be linked in the description down below. But other than that, in this video, we're going to talk about the daily chart, the weekly chart, the short and long-term, long-dated options interest. We'll talk a little bit about my price targets, where I'm going to add, where I'm going to trim. As well as that, we'll look at the general market, what data came out, what data is coming out, and if there's any good Tesla news that we're interested in. Let's just jump straight into it. Okay, looking at the daily chart for Tesla, this is going to be a crazy week for Tesla. We've got the 1010 event coming up, which I'm very excited for, although I don't know if it's going to make the stock price run, so that's important to bear in mind. The stock from this last local kind of bottom here is up about 45%. So on the basis of that, when we approach the completion of the measured move with the lower red arrow up to the green Fibonacci level and kind of just over the little volume peak here, I did trim out some of my position expecting a bit of a pullback. We didn't get it. We continued to push higher. That was purely driven by hype, nothing really fundamental driving the price on this one. I did start to get a little bit nervous when we approached the double top, thinking, oh, is it going to pop over this one? Because it should be just my look. So I did add back that initial trim, well, some of it anyway. And then typically it pulls right back and we're able to add the rest of the position back at a discount. Now, I kind of been trying to hold this at about 10% weighting in my portfolio. I could not tell you if the 1010 event is going to be bullish or bearish for the short-term price action. Part of me thinks maybe it's been hyped up a little bit too much. All the analysts are expecting announcements for the budget car. This is a RoboCab event, so I don't know if we're going to get that announcement that they want. So there could be some sell-off pressure from them. Retail could get super excited and start pumping it, and then Wall Street could have to chase that, but we don't know. There's some exciting little spoilers as well coming on with that. They might be bluffing, but we'll talk about that in the news section. But other than that, though, if we do break down, though, we've got this nice level at 228. That would be a really good support, and then below that is that volume shelf as well, and the bull market band, and then we've got a lot of confluence at around 210, 200. So all in all, my preference would be, honestly, I think I would prefer a pullback so I can get in a little bit more size on this one. It's hard to have a price target on Tesla without knowing a lot of the numbers from the new products that are coming in 2025 and all that stuff. So if you're going to price Tesla as a car company, I say it all the time, it probably is expensive, but if you're going to price it more as a technology company, it will command a better multiple. FSD's got really good margins. If that takes off, that's going to be insane. Energy as well is very good. Bots, I've kind of dabbled with my forecasts, and the numbers are insane. It feels made up, so I don't want to put that out there. I don't want to get a lot of flack like Arc did, although I strongly disagree with their numbers on Robotaxi. They're a bit too bullish, but for the most part, I would expect us to approach about 300 by year end on this one, but stranger things have happened. So we'll see. RSI's definitely got room to run if it wants to. It had a nice cool off, so that's good. We've faded a little bit of that run up. The MACDX Plus here, institution's still really good on this one. We were overbought, but again we've cooled off like we did on the RSI. Retail's hardly in there, and flow is just, I wouldn't really call that turning negative. It looks more stagnant than anything, so kind of waiting with bated breath on this one. Okay, looking at the weekly, again, great V-shaped recovery from that pullback. It looks like a really nice back test of this black trend line. The main takeaway from this that I like is this. Look at this volume shelf. This is great basing. If we can pop out of here, that's going to be amazing support to the downside. Love it. But other than that, it's no surprise we've had a bit of a cool off after this move. It makes it a lot easier to see. As we can see, Tesla is super choppy. Again, sorry, someone's talking to me on Teams. Apologies for that. again, this stock is very volatile and that impacts my risk score on eToro. I'm not taking any more risk than usual. It's just the chop here is giving whiplash vibes, and the risk score doesn't like that. CleanSpark's a really bad one for it. Not much to say about that one. I'm not changing my strategy at all to help with the risk score. I'm just continuing as I normally would. I'm not doing anything crazy. Just manage it as I normally would. But on the weekly, RSI, again, room for a little pop if it wants to. I would, as much as I would love to see a pullback on this one, I can also see a push to the upside. We'll look at the open options interest on this one and see what the rest of the market's thinking, but I'm expecting quite a large expected move either way. The MACDX Plus here, we're still looking really good here. Retail's washed out, we're still good, and flow is hitting a wall, but not really surprising. Let's take a look at the open options interest because I'm really excited to see what the market's thinking on this one. Okay, so what I noticed straight out the gate is the expected move is actually really relatively small. Maybe analysts and Wall Street are just playing it safe. Typically, it's kind of Wall Street that will use the options market to carry out their business. Made that go too far over. So, I mean, there's definitely, we could say, a more bullish tilt on what they're expecting. Now, we talked about this earlier when we looked at the daily chart, that I think maybe Wall Street analysts are expecting Tesla to talk about the new cars they want to bring out. We know there's some cars in the work, although I would expect them to have their own announcement. This is a RoboCab event. I would imagine the focus of this is going to be FSD functionality. They're going to talk about their plans for that. We'll probably see some bots as well, seeing as the event's called We Robot. There's a strong likelihood that that's the kind of vibe we're going to get. Maybe someone asks a question at the end about the cars, and that kind of eases analysts' woes, but a lot of the analysts are coming out saying it's all about the sub 30k car. I don't know if that's going to be a main point of this event. This event's really going to be Tesla coming out and being like, this is what we see in the future. This is where we're driving the company. This is where we see the big growth. Whereas Wall Street's kind of expecting this event to be, these are the new cars we're bringing out, and that's the disparity we're dealing with here. Is Tesla a car company? Should it be priced as one? Or are we going to accept the fact that they're not just a car company, they're a technology company, they're a software as a service company in the future? And considering how forward looking the market normally is, it's not doing a very good job of looking forward with Tesla. It's quite a bizarre thing going on. But let's look at the week after just to see what's happening with that. Slightly bigger expected move, but not much. Again, we're seeing a lot more variety in the strikes here. Downside support, mega one at 200. Honestly, I would love for Tesla to get back down to 200 so I could load the boat on it. That would be crazy to me if we get down there. But like we mentioned, crazier things have happened. To the upside, there's a lot of numbers being picked out here. There's a lot going on. Not scrolling, sorry. Didn't mean to move that. So again, 300's picked out. I mean, I'd be shocked to see Tesla hit 300 this week, but if we did get a really high pop-up like that, I'd be inclined to take profit. That would be a pure FOMO move. Remember, these events are about where things are going. It doesn't mean the fundamentals of the company is kind of matching with that, and I like to layer in and out of positions. If we're going to go up that much, that's a good opportunity to layer a bit out, wait for a little bit of a pullback, and then add back in. Not necessarily that that's going to happen, but that's how I like to manage my positions. Let's go straight to January 2025, see what's happening. I would expect to see more around 300. Yep. A lot around 300. A lot of people in the money on this one. Good for you. Quite a lot of bearish interest as well. I think they're going to be having a very rough 2025, at least the start of one. we scroll up, do we see any higher strikes? We've got some higher, but I would say 300. We're definitely heading towards that one. 2026 on this one. Bear in mind, a lot of the products for Tesla won't be kind of scaling up until late 2025, so those numbers won't be improving the fundamentals. Obviously, as the economy gets better, that rising tide's going to lift all boats, and Tesla should do very well off the back of that. We should see margins start to increase and all that good stuff. People starting to want to buy cars again because loans are actually affordable. But for the most part, a lot of the new stuff isn't going to be hitting the tape until the year after, which would be January 2026. We should start to see some good stuff. And that's a little bit reflected in this expected move. It's quite large here, 300 again. I think Tesla's going to smash that in 2025. 400's looking like a really good support there as well, though. Now, I was going to try and save the kind of news nuggets for this part of the video, but I've accidentally talked about them in both the daily and the open options interest part of the video. So I'm just going to quickly highlight what I talked about there. Sorry, I've just written all this on a page for a change so I don't waffle too much. Mainly that I think analysts are focusing too much on the car part of the business. I'm not sure that's going to be talked about in this actual event. So that could be a potential spanner in the works if everyone wants a pop. Other than that, though, I wanted to touch a little bit on a couple of the spoilers we're seeing out there. We've got the kind of this little green one. People have probably seen that one doing the rounds, kind of hinting that it's looking at the part of the keyboard that says HYU, like Hyundai. People are kind of suggesting or in that kind of ballpark that maybe it's that car company that licenses FSD first. Now that would be amazing because I actually really like those cars and I really like the Tucson. I'm looking at buying a new one and might have to hold off if we're going to get FSD. I mean, the UK is probably not going to be leading the charge with regulatory approval, so might be waiting a while, but it certainly would give me pause for thought there. Initially, I thought because the CEO of kind of Ford was saying a lot of good things about Tesla and their partnership, I thought they would be the first to the foray. But maybe I'm wrong. Other than that, though, we've got the new kind of teaser going out, the 1010 McDonald's. Ooh, very partial to a sneaky McDonald's every now and again. But there's kind of now the expectation that we'll see some kind of Uber Eats delivery kind of play on the business. Maybe we see the bots making the burger. Maybe there's a bot picking up a delivery from McDonald's to take to someone. But this is certainly a part of the business that, as far as I've seen out there, people haven't modeled any of this into their kind of very bullish projections. So a lot of people will be getting even more bullish if that's something that's really highlighted on the event. I think that was it for the event. Other than that, though, I wanted to talk about the kind of election chop we're going to be seeing. I don't really think it matters too much in the long term who wins. Both of them are going to need to stimulate the economy a lot. They're going to, print loads of money. So that's going to be very, what's the word? It's going to boost the economy, basically. I can't think of the word right now. I'm having a bit of a brain fart. I do think Tesla's going to get a pullback if Trump doesn't win, mainly because the Biden administration's not been his biggest fan, and also he's aligned himself with Trump, and but I think that pullback would be a pullback that I bought personally. It wouldn't really matter in the long run. It'd just be an extra buying opportunity. Okay, straight on to the macro data from yesterday. So that was Monday. We had a few speeches. I think there was a couple of comments I saw floating around on X saying that Kashkari had been quite negative regarding the balance sheet runoff. I don't know if that's true. I've not checked that one yet. But given the amount of speeches and the amount of stuff going up in the market, I'm not too fussed about double checking that. I take anything they say with a pinch of salt, to be honest. So I don't really often listen to them. Tuesday again, which is today, we had the MFIB Business Optimism Index that came in a little bit under what we were expecting, but I mean, not earth-shattering, is it? Balance of trade coming in layers with the export and imports and the difference between the two. So then we've got the red book year over year, not too exciting. We do have the RCM tip economic optimism index. That's a mouthful. That's expected to go up again from its last previous read. Now, I don't know if this one's going to come in a bit lower like the MFib, but it was higher than previous. So, I mean, can't complain too much. And again, Bostic speaking again. That man loves to chat. That's a wrap then. If you like this video, give it a share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next update.